Hey kids, did you know?
Once upon a time, we thought that we could just dump our trash in the river. But as it turns out, that doesn't work. We used to say the secret of pollution was dilution.
But then in 1969, I couldn't believe that this had actually happened, but water caught on fire! It was out of Cleveland, Ohio, and there was so much industrial waste that was being dumped into the river that the river actually caught on fire!
Consequently, that motivated an uproar in the country, and Earth Day was born on April 22nd, 1970.
Well, we started our own Earth Day celebration over spring break and created this film as our contribution to the worldwide celebration that happens every year on this day.
We sailed a sailboat in Puget Sound from Olympia.
Small sailboat, right?
Small sailboat.
Small sailboat.
It's big enough.
Big and huge. We sailed a humongous 27-foot sailboat in the Puget Sound. Sorry, take it over.
We sailed all over the South Puget Sound up to Tacoma and visited several islands and explored several beaches and went looking for trash. So, come on.
We want you to come explore with us.
Let's go.
Come on.
Whoa! Look at how big the gust is!
Hang on!
I'm trying to! That's better! Aren't I funny?
Hilarious. The gust.
Big gust!
She's rounding out. Don't let out the sheet so that we don't go so tippy. Bring you back in. This is Rachel Mueller.
This is Aaron Mueller.
Alan Nile.
And we're off on a trashy adventure to explore unknown depths of man's byproducts on the coast of Washington.
Washington, D.C.
Here we are on a handy dandy diggy.
Okay, so it's not really Washington, D.C. We're in Washington State, and we're headed to Point Defiance State Park, a beautiful park in Tacoma, Washington. We expected to find lots of trash here because it's a really busy park, and there's lots of marine traffic, including container ships out in the bay. But it turns out that we didn't find any trash here. We continued exploring, and when we looked up at the cliffs, we noticed that erosion had contributed to a lot of debris falling from the cliff sides. When we explored these piles of debris, lo and behold, a trash jackpot.
The story of our trashy adventure was starting to come into focus. Though we had expected to find trash on the beach, we weren't finding any. Instead, we were finding trash up on these elevated mounds next to the cliffs where erosion had brought debris down onto the beach. We started to wonder, how could this be that we aren't finding trash on the beach? And we looked around our environment for clues to help us hypothesize an answer. As we looked around, we started to notice distinct signs of tidal activity that in some places went right up to the cliff. Here we see lines of pebbles on the sand that run parallel to the waterline, both close to the water and far away from the water, up near the cliffs. These lines running parallel to the ocean are called tide lines, and they are lines of debris that is deposited by the ocean before the water retreats with the tides. On these rocks, we see more evidence of tidal activity in these small, little white bumps. These small white bumps are actually the encasements of biological organisms called barnacles. They only live in seawater and tend to appear in shallow and tidal waters, so the fact that we are seeing them on these rocks indicates to us that the seawater is over these rocks at high tide. This time-lapse video from a different beach shows this process of how the oceans may act like a broom that sweeps our beaches clean by lifting trash off of them and carrying them out to sea. As the tide goes out to sea, it exposes the beach and creates a space for people to accidentally leave behind items that they carelessly forgot to put in trash cans. And as the tide comes up, these items are then lifted off the beach and carried out to sea. You can imagine here that if the water in this picture were to keep on rising, the dinghy that is parked on shore could be lifted up and carried away like an old piece of garbage.
Just like sweeping trash under a rug, if you let the tide sweep trash into the ocean, it's still going to be there. So we decided to leave Point Defiance and go take a look underwater. And amazingly, we were visited right away by one of the area's most lovable creatures, the white-sided dolphin. This smart social animal is a prime example of the reasons why we want to protect these waters. Trash swept off the beaches by the incoming and outgoing tide can be harmful to her and all the other organisms and creatures below her on the food chain. We continued our sailing journey to go explore another island in the Puget Sound.
Aaron Miller and we're going for an undersea adventure.
Okay, here we go. Off to explore Eagle Island. There's, I think, about 30 feet of water underneath me, and there's a reef over there. There's an island over there with seals, and there's unknown creatures waiting to be found. So let's go see them.
As soon as I dropped down in the water, I started finding all kinds of creatures, including Plymouth anemones, chitons, limpets, various invertebrate life, and of course crabs. As I swam away from the protection of the island, I soon found I was having to swim hard against the current. In these pictures you can see the seaweed blowing like it's in the wind, but that's really just the current in the water. When I let go of the rock, then I just start drifting along with it, just like a piece of seaweed myself. Our dolphin friend has a smooth, streamlined body and powerful tail to help her swim through the current. She loves swimming fast. Since water is 1,000 times more dense than air, it helps keep her buoyant. Water does the same thing to the trash on the beach. Since a lot of trash is less dense than water, it floats when the tide comes in, and then the powerful currents sweep it away. Our friend, that we named Rudder, lives in this amazing sea. For her, it's home, and right now, she's just having fun.
During the week between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day, Americans throw away 1 million more tons of trash than usual.
Wow,
During the weeks
that's super good. Right, Mom?
super good. Let me read it again. Ready? During the weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day, Americans throw away 1 million more tons of trash than usual. Do you know what happens between Thanksgiving and New Year's?
What?
There's a couple holidays that involve lots of presents.
Well, guess what? Every time I get a present, I throw the wrapper in the trash.
Right, and so that's what everybody does, right? So with Christmas and Hanukkah and those present type holidays that are between Thanksgiving and New Year's, we create 1 million more tons of trash than usual. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So, how much trash actually does go to the oceans? Well, let's consider for the moment just plastic alone. In 2010, we threw away 275 million metric tons of plastic. If we were to take the weight of all this plastic and convert it to the weight of elephants, this would be equivalent to saying that we threw away 40 million elephants worth of plastic. Of the amount of plastic in this world, 8 million metric tons found its way to the oceans. That's the equivalent weight of about 1 million elephants walking into the ocean as plastic garbage. Wow! That is a stampede of garbage! What happens to all this garbage when it gets to the oceans? Let's find out. A simulated ocean basin. You gonna dump trash in there? And trash sprinkled all over the top. Okay, so we're gonna look at the trash at the bottom. See how the trash is all sprinkled around the bottom?
Yeah.
Alright, now let's see what happens when I roll it up.
Now stop.
See how just by making a circle in the basin, all the trash is collecting in the middle?
Yeah.
On the bottom? The grouping of the red glitter at the bottom of this bowl happens because of a different physical process than what occurs in the oceans. But a similar principle applies where circular motion in the ocean's gyre causes matter to converge and creates garbage patches. Sometimes the clustering of this garbage can be visible as large pieces of plastics and debris come together. Oftentimes, however, it's not so visible as our garbage breaks down in the environment and creates micropollution. Even though it's not visible, however, this micropollution can still cause harm. In fact, when it's not visible, it can cause the most harm because it's the smaller pieces that can be eaten by little fish, that get eaten by bigger fish, that get eaten by us. So one of the problems with our garbage going into the oceans is that it ends up in our food chain, and it introduces toxins to living organisms, which includes you and me.
When we left for our adventure, we were excited to see nature, to sail and explore and maybe find dolphins and seals and eagles. And we knew that we were going to be looking for trash, but the truth is, that sounded more like work than fun. But in the process of cleaning up garbage, we found that it was really rewarding. It felt good to get rid of ugly and harmful garbage on what was otherwise a beautiful beach. When the garbage was gone, we noticed that we'd expanded the spaces between the garbage, and now there was more beautiful nature for us and others to enjoy. Sometime, take a bag and some gloves and go out to your park. Pick up some trash and see if it doesn't make you feel really good too. Then look around and I'll bet you'll notice that it's a way more fun place when it's clean. Rudder and all her sea creature buddies don't have a way to clean up the water themselves. They just get stuck with garbage. So it's each one of our jobs to take care of our trash, and if you can, clean up other trash you see. It will help keep Rudder's home cleaner and her whole ecosystem cleaner. Well, thanks for coming along on our Earth Day celebration adventure.
On our adventure, we learned that tides sweep trash off of our beaches, that currents carry garbage out to sea, and that gyres circulating in the oceans collect this garbage into garbage patches.
We also discovered along the way that we fell in love just with exploring the Earth and finding that the spaces between the trash were rich with beauty. There's an immense ecosystem out there with the small animals beneath the waves, animals that live inside the ocean itself. On top of the surface, we found all kinds of birds, and on beaches, we continue to explore and find all kinds of different animals. It's beautiful, and we really hope that you get out there and explore as well.
Remember, Rudder? The dolphin and the crabs.
Rudder's awesome.
It's such a beautiful ecosystem, and we are a part of this ecosystem, which is amazing. Our own body is its own ecosystem. Our bodies contain within it more non-human cells than human cells, meaning that there is a diverse flora and fauna inside our bodies of bacteria, viruses, parasites, all working together to promote health, hopefully, within our bodies. And it just so happens,
Yum!
we still need this as a prop. The foods that don't have wrappers on them, the foods that you can eat without creating pollution or creating garbage, are the foods that are good for your own internal ecosystem. So if you're eating foods that are good for your body, you're not polluting your body. And in the same way, you're not polluting the earth.
We also found even more reasons out there to go out and reduce our trash level that we create, to reuse items that we might have otherwise wanted to just throw away, and recycle the things that we can to help reduce the amount of raw materials that have to be pulled out of the earth.
And now it's your turn. You have an opportunity right now to go out in this world and do your own exploration. Find ways that you feel inspired to grow the space in between the garbage that you see in whatever environment you have outside your front door, so that you could create an environment that's enjoyable for us all.
So go out there and explore.
It was nice traveling with you. I'm Dr. Rachel Davida Mueller.
And I'm Captain Alan Niles.
See you next time.
See ya. Bye.
What'd you find?
Nice. Oh my gosh, it's tiny.
Look, he's super tiny.
Oh, there he goes.
Alright, let's see if there's any more under here.
So we just found this piece of trash right here. There's these pants that are full of sand. We picked up the sand.
And we found a whole crab habitat.
Look at them go! Run, little guys, run! These are just a fraction of the ones that we saw.
Mommy,
You have one in your hand?
I have two.
Oh, there they go! Go, crabbies, go!
Why do they have anything else?
I'm kind of tied up right now.
Aaron, set adrift.
Okay, so with one hand, push here. Don't let go. The other hand, unwrap. Okay, helms alee. Helms alee means the helm goes to leeward. And we start turning the boat. Now look ahead. Watch the foresail. See it left? Now lift this straight up. Boom, let her go. In.
Now that's the active one.
That's the active sheet, you're right. You gonna help finish pulling it in? It's ready.
Oh, and then this goes on top like this.
Right now we're just going to leave it just like that. Can you rotate the Earth so that we could draw the equator on it? Okay, this will be our hypothetical equator. And just like the actual Earth, this orange is kind of bumpy and uneven. Alright, so now we have the equator, the center line. We'll call this north. North will point up. And we'll call this down here will be the South Pole. So south is down. And we have east in this direction and west in that direction. So we have
So north, south, east. So west, east, north, and south.
exactly. All right. So now
ground beneath it literally moves and the water starts to turn from the rotation and the curvature of the earth, and that's called the Coriolis effect. And with that we create these.
Or you might miss the train. You missed the train.
So imagine there's a doggy behind there. See in the lens? See him in the lens?
I see him.
Do you see him in
Good
the
dog,
lens?
good dog.
Good dog. Good dog.
We once thought we could just dump trash into the river. Okay.
Sorry.
I think this is hard for me.
And you don't have to read. You don't
I'm
have to
trying
read
not
it.
to.
Okay,
I'm
good.
trying not to.
Good. Like, so tell me what you're gonna say.
I don't know. I'm gonna say
What would
once
be
upon
your
a time.
words?
How about that?
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, we thought we could just dump our trash in the river.
This might have happened yesterday, actually. Once upon a time, like yesterday, 5 days ago, maybe a year ago. Okay, let's say, yeah, okay, perfect. Once upon a time, I love it. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, and I'll go the river. And there was so much industrial waste just into the river that the river, water, who knew that water could catch fire? But it can. You put enough stuff, enough pollution in the water, and it can catch on fire.
Awesome. I love your animation. But I'm not going to be able to hear that audio when you go quiet. Once upon a time, we thought we could just dump our trash into the river. The old adage was the secret of pollution was dilution, or something like that.
Wait, I need to get serious again because I can't be laughing while you just talking about this. This is Earth Day. Earth Day 2015. We're on.
Once upon a time, something happened. This is really not an active thing. I say it. There I go.
Okay, go.
I have to feel this. I have to feel
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay.
We're talking to kindergartners.
Right.
Hey kids! Did you know